Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. One of the things I kind of mention repeatedly is that I am a huge George Sisler collector, and because of that, I'm going to kind of break up sharing what I have of his into a few different videos to keep them a little more palatable and have them not be a 30 or 40 minute video on George Sisler. I don't know if anybody wants to see that, so I would watch that repeatedly. In fact, I would, even if it's my own. But no, this is what I want to do is break this up into kind of some themes. And I'm realizing as I'm going through, you know, if you're a dabbler on a player, you grab one or two and you maybe pick up a set you didn't have, so you can represent the set and the player at the same time. But when you're truly a player collector, you have to deep dive and take kind of every variant, and that becomes kind of your passion, is finding all the unique, close but not exactly the same, therefore it's different, therefore you need it kind of collecting, passion. So I'm going to do that on this. It's going to be a lot of cards that are similar, so you'll see more than one that looks almost identical. If you look at the two on the left, get this kicking here, E121. So that's an E121. E121 has two different versions of poses, but it also has a series of, look at me guessing which way to flip it. That worked out well. Series of 120, which is that one. And there's also E121 batting. This one is a series of 80. So other than that, those are pretty much similar to same card. So have those crossed off. E121 continues with the second pose. So I've got throwing, which is another very popular. That's from the series of 80. So all E121s at this point. What's really interesting, and I picked this one up at Strongsville, when you jump into the E122 set, this is the way it was told to me. The E121 and the E122 are effectively the exact same picture. I don't know if I can even get this close enough to show how not great it looks. It almost looks like it's been like scanned, which obviously it wasn't in 1922. But it's basically a copy of the exact same picture, and the copy is literally so bad that you can tell it's lower quality. Other than that, the biggest difference is that the box extends down to enclose, and they have some color on the first base St. Louis Americans George Sisler writing. But other than that, I mean, it is the same card. So mild variance, that takes you E121 to E122. E122 is more scarce and slightly more expensive. None of the Sisler ones are in the realm of cheap for me, unfortunately, but they're worth it. Very, very cool player. So, getting into the W's, which I know some of you love, some of you will not love, but I do want to illustrate a few of these for some point counterpoint. If you take a look at these, and I put one on the opposite side, it is a mirror of the other two. So you actually have two sets, but within those, like this one, it's a 1920 W519-1. So a lot of these sets have -1s, -2s, -3s. Identifying these is really challenging because they're hand cut, so you're not always sure what's missing. So I'm willing to put significant money, unless they have a way of doing this more scientifically. I don't know how you would tell the difference. So at the bottom it says George Sisler. It's in the appropriate imaging. It's exactly as it should look. It says number 6. It's card 6 in that set. Can't tell where these SGC ones are reflective. This is a 521. Still says George Sisler, says 6. Depending how closely it's trimmed. So this one you do get the little bit of writing over there. So it says basically like who's printing the card. So 519, 521. And then you have another 521, which I think these are really cool. I like these a lot. It's another one, authentic minimum size not met. Still 6, George Sisler. There's nothing on the side, but it's reversed. So it's a mirror of the original. So I have a few of these that are without the match. So the reverse image is cool on its own. It's neat just to see that it's not the standard. But I think those are cool. So I've got those 3. Just got a couple more to show you. I like seeing them that way though. When you see the variant next to it, to me that's a really cool way to see it. 1922, we've got the Nielsen chocolate. So there's 2 variants there. Let me break into one of these first. That says type 1. A little more of a matte finish. Coloring I think is relatively close. The gloss is a big difference. And then you can also tell the difference on the back of these. So Nielsen's very like distinctive, old world kind of writing to it, which is very cool. But there's the type 1, the type 2, same set. If I can pick that up, I guess even just seeing the glare is what really it is. It's literally shiny. So you go from, like paint, it goes from like flat or, a matte type of finish to like a glossy. So you can see the shine difference, but type 2. And then the other thing you notice on the back of these is the writing. Word-wise, I think it's basically the same wording. Nielsen's chocolate bars, Nielsen's. It's just the way it's presented. So if you're into the Nielsen's chocolate set, you can definitely tell pretty quickly if it's type 1 or type 2. But, when you're a Sisler collector, you don't settle for one type. You need both types. And the other one is one where I am currently failing. I believe it's Wire Whale. I'm trying to think the other name. There's one more. But golly gosh darn, I am not mastering this set just yet. And really, it's backs. So this is a non-rookie. Some actually call it a rookie. It's not. There's at least one 1916, and that has 2 variants, which is one that's escaping me. I'd love to put that on the goal list, but it's almost on the grail list. I just can't find it. Most people don't know he was the 1916 M101. There's 2 different versions. I think it's a -4, -5. 4 shows him as a first baseman. 5 shows him as a pitcher. He was a pitcher when he came up. So really just too good of a hitter to keep him out of the lineup. I mean, back then pitchers pitched every like 2-3 days. So it's not like today where you have Ohtani and you're dealing with how often to get him some at-bats. But even still, they wanted his bat in the lineup, so they kept him as more of a first baseman than a pitcher. But I think he was 2-0 against Walter Johnson, so heck of a pitcher as well. But this is, I'll call it his second year set. There's 4 different backs. So you got 1917. I feel like Collins McCarthy is one of the more popular, more commonly seen. There's a Ruth, I think, in this set. So, I mean, the Ruth obviously gets all the pub. This is one of the best backs in the industry, like the entire hobby. If you are at all into looking at the back of the card, and I say that because of this, it's one of 200 pictures. Baseball's Hall of Fame. They made that up. that wasn't actually a thing. Hall of Fame didn't come along for another, what, 20 plus years? 20 years? So from 1917, they're referencing this, Baseball Hall of Fame as just their phrase of how to reference these great players of the day. So I think that's really, really neat. These will all look pretty much identical with the exception of the back and obviously the condition that I've able to secure them in. But having two that are threes, a 3 is a really solid grade for this card. And honestly, when I'm getting them, I don't have a choice. If I see them, I get them. So unfortunately, sometimes I should pay up more than I would wish. I wish I could find these in a glorious 1.5, but you get what you can get. So also card 162, the back of this for Boston Store. Nice little ad. And these are all pretty scarce. So when I say, like, when I see them, I have to get them, I literally feel that way. So I absolutely bid aggressively because you don't know how long it's going to be before you're going to see another one. So it's been years that I've acquired these 3, the last few years for sure, hunting more aggressively. But this one came up as an A. It's actually still a really, obviously it's got clipped corners, which for some of you would be the end of the world. For me is cool. Saved me $1,000 by not being a higher grade. A little bit of a crease, but really it's still a good looking card. Everything else about everything on it is the exact same. And then the back, standard biscuit. So that is what I have right now of the 1917 Sislers. So that is, I just wanted to do a quick little run through of some of my Sisler collection. I thought it was good to pair these in a kind of complementary manner. So a lot of the other ones are one-offs and kind of odd, don't follow a system. So wanted to show some strip cards, some chocolate cards, some caramel cards, and then some clothing runs, I guess, unique second year backs. But that's a bit of the Sislers. So if anyone has a lead on a 1917 Sisler, I have one left to get to have the entire little rainbow of 4, and I would love to do that. So please share if you have a lead, and anything else I will cover with more Sisler videos in the future. Thanks for checking out phase 1 of unique variants of George Sisler. See you guys next time. Thanks.